Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome all of you joining today's commercial real estate updates and implications by COVID-19. I am Pauline Lam from Cotai Realty. I'm your 2020 co-chair, Education Committee, Western Gabriel Valley Realtors. A few housekeeping tips. All participants will be muted, and should you have any questions, please enter it into the chat box. Speaker will answer it during the Q&A section. Today, we have the great honor to invite Mr. Howard Ting from YK America be our special speaker. Mr. Howard Ting served as Senior Vice President of YK America, Green Century Development, and co-founder of the Pacific Anchor Holdings. Mr. Ting has over 25 years experience and expertise in commercial real estate development for land, shopping center, office building, hotel, apartment, and industrial real estate development at US and abroad. He is not only specialized in marketing and business negotiation, but also a frequent speaker with different universities, real estate organizations, and many enterprises in both English and Chinese. He also is adjunct faculty of International Department with UC Long Beach. Mr. Howard Ting, we wait for you. Right now, let's give our warm welcome to Mr. Howard Ting. Howard, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Pauline. It's my great honor to be here, and you invited me to talk about the, oh my God, I don't want to say that. It's a very critical moment for almost everybody in this kind of industry, no matter you're a real estate agent, you are developers, or you're a landowner, or you're at the tenant, even you are the landlord. So I just say appreciate again, have this kind of opportunity to talk about the current situation and whatever been happened before, happening right now, and happening for the future. But for sure, we understand it's not really predictable for everything because I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not a fortune teller, but I only can say based on our previous experience, I can share only my company, myself, very personal experience, and sharing that to agents or developers or investors, how to deal with that. Okay, so my company actually been doing this for 25 years. I mean, with the company day one. And why we choose the commercial, because the commercial is a totally different animal than the residential. I know today lots of the audience and the agents, brokers, they are listening to, they try to get involved with this commercial type stuff. But I have to say that it's not easy at all. It's not going to be the overnight you will know the commercial. But if you're willing to spend a little bit of time to study that, to deal with that, they will be fine. So the commercial real estate, we choose, I just say, we have this kind of business in our company, the core business, because we are the developer. We're going to find the land. Before we find the land, we find that people like to have this be our tenant. So we do the little bit reverse way. Let's say again, reverse way. You can't just go ahead, buy a land and then go develop that. It's not right way. So you got to prepare in advance. You know, maybe who's your future investor? Who's your future buyer? The most important things is your future tenant. Who's going to lease? Who's going to rent your space? Yeah, in the commercial, the rule of thumb is the price. What's the price? The price depends on the leasing price. Who pay the rent? How much they pay the rent? Then you can calculate that be your cap rate. So if you have higher lease rate, then your property is a more value. Okay, so I always telling the people saying, commercial is so easy to understand. How much money you collect, then that's your property worth. Don't tell me the location. Yeah, location is very important, But sometimes right now, pandemic, people work at home. So they are changing a little bit of boundary. Okay, they can work at home. So the location is not that easy to see. That would be fine. But for the retail or some easy to access the commercial property, that's still the location. It's the same thing. So today I go to the point, how do we deal with it? And what's happening right now? I got lots of the numbers. Just want a quick share, especially people in the real estate, in the residential real estate. They like to hear this. Yeah, right now the supply is not that catch up with the demand. So the economy is saying demand, supply always happen, okay? So right now, LA Times showing the great news, 27.7% for the previous one, and increased 2.5% from the pandemic days, July 2019. Well, that's all good news. And unbelievable, the median price for the housing is $585,000, okay? So I've been told, some agents talk to me, say, hey, people wait online, and the one house for sale, I don't talking about multi-million dollars, or I'm talking about like say from the 500,000 to under $1 million house, and you got 10, 20 offers, and they maybe go to highest bid or something like that. So that's a good news for those people involved with a residential one. Now is a very good timing. If you are the listing agent, even the better. Okay, but you are from the buyer side, they will be fine. You have to shop around and go find some place and to show the buyer right now is market. That's the main reason people truly understand, because of interest, right? For the past 30 years, yeah, I've been living in Southern California almost 30 years. So I know that there's unbelievable lower interest rate. Try to catch that, try to have those lock in the low interest rate, but they might increase. I've been told it's been increased about 2 points, will be 0.5%. So now it's a golden time to do this. Fortunately and unfortunately, why they are driven the high price? Because the cost. We used to build like a tract house. We don't really do the tract house. We are commercial developer. Let's say apartment. It's a non-building infrastructure price raise up. Non-residential price raise up. Residential price raise up. So everything we're talking about the cost, building material, insurance, labors from the 2005 to 2020, it's still going up. So this incredible high price for compared to long time ago. Okay, so easy to understand why the price is up, because that cost, the fundamental is a cost. So let you understand, when you're buying a house, people asking this price, people buying like a warehouse, my cost, we are developer, we do the industrial. They quote us the price almost similar to the housing price to build a warehouse, Hilltop. Later on, I will be try to get involved a little bit about the very good business for industrial logistics, okay? And the next one, the people say, Howard, why'd you call commercial real estate have those kind of categories? I say, non-residential is a commercial. 5 units over is a multifamily. So everything you collect the rent, you collect the money over 5 units, we are actually the definition more specific saying that's a commercial. Okay, so you say, I'm in commercial business. Do you own 5 units or more? Do you own the office building? Do you own multifamily, industrial, retail, hotel, land? Plus, they got more, and the people talking about a little bit detail like a healthy care, okay, like senior living, okay, they are entertainment, they are all in the commercial because you collect rent. So basically, I'm going to talk about those office, multifamily, industrial, retail, hotel, and the land, and individually to telling agent, telling the investor, how do you can, I don't say go through this difficult time, at least you know how, okay, and be prepared. It's not even the worst situation right now, I'll be honest. The worst scenario, yeah, because the people, they got the eviction let me see, the policy will be reopened on the next week, which will be September 2nd. Okay, so people can do the eviction. It will depend on the different county cities. Okay, but some good news. Good news for landlord, bad news for the tenant. Okay, anyway, so the real estate. Let me put some numbers. CBRE, we've been working with them for a while, so they're okay me to talk about their numbers. And the community, the government, like we're dealing with the local government, they concern the job creation. They concern the retail tax they're going to collect. But anything concerned with the job create in July, 1.8 million, that's always be a good news. All right, 1.8 and 3.1 past the 3 months, and underemployment rate about 10.2%. Hopefully, we can get it better. If not, it will depend because the government, they have a different policy. They got a PPM, they got a this and that. So I will talking a little bit about the government policy, how to developer or agent can telling the people to get the grant. Because my company successfully to get a grant for 3.2 million and there's $30 million for infrastructure. Not cash to us, but it's the money to the project. I will talk that a little bit later on that. And how about commercial, the real estate highlights? Office, yeah, it's not bad. They can get some job back. And average months for the past 3 months, that's the 191,000 and the 233,000. It's not bad. And industrial, they have the 20,000 more and the 230,000 for the past, but they expect lease volume will be up to like a Q3 2021. Okay, that's industrial. And the industrial right now, it's probably a little bit better than all kind of business, and the multifamily is a little bit better. But the retail, it's been hurt, and we are also the mixed-use retail developer, but we are not only do the retail because we do the mixed use. For the future, the retail business, if you can convert to the mixed use with the residential, that's a trend. That's the future. So the retail job, they create lots of the construction and a little bit this and that. But the multifamily, the industry and the multifamily will be another good sectors. People wanted to find a place to live. For example, based on the numbers, 30% over in the United States people, they are leasing or rent their own residence. They don't own that. So apartment supply is always very strong. Although the interest is very low right now, people buying the single family house, but people moving around, they got to find a new job or to relocate. They can own the house right away. So apartment right now, is still very strong, the demanding, okay, for the multifamily. And the hotel, that probably has been hurt a lot, what we call hospitality business. And right now, the hotel, because we build hotel, and fortunately, luckily, we have the Hyatt Hotel, Hyatt Place we built 2 years ago. And the worst will be the March, April, May, and June is coming back a little bit, and the July is very good. And our hotel at I think it's very healthy. We can back to 70% occupancy rate. I will talk that a little bit later on that, okay? Great. So depending on the CBRE, they expect the commercial real estate, but mostly it will be in the industrial and the multifamily. Rest of the sectors gotta be literally gradually be back on the 2021. Can be, just as saying, can be happen overnight. We have to patiently to wait on that. If you are in the hotel business, if you are in the office or in the any kind of commercial business except industrial and the multifamily, you got to be patient to wait because we can tell it's correct because we involve all kind of commercial. So we can tell the trend is going like that way. But on the rest of the business, we have to be patient, we have to slow down. It won't be that aggressive to build more office or whatever. But after 2021, everything coming back, then you got good plan. You find a good place, you can find a good property you can buy. So you're buying the property, most agents understand. When you're buying the property, that's the most easy way. We are developers. We are from the ground up. Then we got to build that, everything, even the underground infrastructure. So it's very tough. But for agent, you guys stick with whatever you do right now. Buy the property on the market rates, market price, that's fine. If you be a developer, then it's a different ballgame to play. It's totally different. Okay, now, why the retail is so tough? You can see for past few months, many reputable or the very famous popular name brand is out of business. Some is on the way, maybe happen in the future, or they are trying to file the Chapter 11 or even the 7, okay? And they have to reorganize their financial situation. It's a very difficult time. But I don't say the retail is so bad because my tenant, our tenant, none of that actually out of business, like Walmart, Starbucks, Subway. They might closing down the few locations, but they still there. They survive. So we're talking about the retail. You have to survive first. Then we're talking about making the profits. So that's what I'm telling the agent or the investors. Before you buy the property or develop the property, you have to truly understand what's your tenant, the percentage proportionally is anchor, mainstream, or local mom and pop store. You have to understand what's the lessee, because you're going to be a lessor, because we are the landlord. So we sign the contract to those, what do we call, the lessee, the tenant. So you got to carefully to select who's going to occupy your space for next 5, 10, even 20 years. So you pick up the right one. Then the landlord will be happy. Tenant making the money, they're paying the rent. Okay, so we always say do the reverse way. To locate, try to find who's your tenant first. Then you start to do your project. Okay, and we prefer, my company being a developer, all we like to do is we dealing with the big box and the retail, food trend, chain store. We're dealing with those people, they understand the market. So we try to sign the contract and the lease to them. Okay, at least the pandemic, they don't have to sit down, but they got to go. So they can survive. Even Walmart, even online business, you don't care. You have to find out who's your tenant. And they do mostly what we call necessity. It's not really shopping business. Okay, if you go to the fancy one, you can go to Rodale Drive, you can go to the South Coast Plaza to shopping. Okay, but the most of the shopping place, they are facing very difficult time. So we are willing to give those kind of a little bit lower reasonable price to those attendants. But we want to keep them, don't say forever. We wanted to lock in with them. For example, my company deal with Walmart. Every single project, we have the Walmart in our shopping center. Why? Because we're thinking the Walmart, they can attract. Yeah, because you attract the people, they're paying the money. They can buy something different, the stuff around your project. Just take this for example. That's a 72 acres in the Phillip Ranch. People say, Howard, where's the Phillip Ranch? If you know the Diamond Bar, if you know the Chino Hills, if you don't know the Walnut, if you know the Pomona, that's the 60 and the 71 they call Phillip Ranch. We are the developer for this plaza, this property for past 10 years. How do we do that? City own the land. They want to put to the market, let the developer to build this project. They got 140 developer. Finally, we got this project. We got this land. We're paying the money to the city. We actually we bought the land to be a developer, but we need to sign a contract, DDA, which is called the development agreement. We cannot flip this property. We have to develop, then we can sell. We can find a partner, but we cannot just sell that overnight because you have a very great deal. from the city. They are not your partners, but they want to look into how many jobs you create, how many retail tax you can create. So remember, agent brokers, when you're dealing with a commercial, you talk to the buyer or seller, especially the buyer. Why you want to buy this property, the commercial? Because they got a stable income, because they got good cap rate. But when I say good cap rate, the cap rates in our commercial site, we have a magic number, I have to say again, 6%. 6% is a very good already. Sure, you can find a little bit better than the cap rates to a little bit further suburb area or remote area or out of state. But within the Southern California, anything falling in this category for 6% cap rate with NOI and the divide by your selling price, if you get a 6%, that's very good. All right, grab it, take it. But how do we can work this kind of different combination? We wanted to create a shopping center before we purchase the land. We know who's coming. We got Starbucks, we got Subway, we got Bank of America. Then we got Winkle Food. So the Winkle Food is one of the largest grocery store in the West Coast. They got 100,000 square feet. They open 24 hours. So that's what we call anchor tenant, Walmart. It is. And how do you can keep them forever? Then I have to frankly tell you, we have to let them to stay there. I don't say forever, but at least that they're not going to move. They're not going to cancel the lease. What's the reason? They own the land. Why? When we purchase a big piece of land, we cut. We let the Walmart, even the Winkle, let them to pay the price to own the land. They build or we build, that's fine. They have to own the land. So in the bad economy, they will be closed down. The store, they lease, but when they own the land, I don't think they will be out of business or they will be closed down. They will stick with it. So my company policy, when we deal with anchor, we let them own the land. Okay, we even give them the fair value price and we grade the land, let them to build or we build. But the rest of that, you can see, then we be the landlord. No matter you deal with the office building, okay, we lease to the Keller Williams, the one of the agency. Then we lease the office to the KB Home and the big builders. They lease more than 10,000 square feet from our office building. Then we don't sell their land. We actually lease to them. They pay the rent. So that's what we do. And the California state government, the welfare, the center is right here. Then we lease to them. Before they wanted to lease this property, I have to let you know, you talk to them first. They will let you know how big they want. Then we sign the contract. Then we start to build. Now they're paying $2.62 million, 2.62 per year for 20 years. This government contract. So sometimes we like to deal with those kind of agencies. They will be stay there longer. Okay, so then we build. If you don't build, they might sue you. But when you sign the lease for 20 years, then you can kick back, relax. Because if they don't lease that, they breach the contract, you might can sue them, all right? So that's what we do. So every single, what do we call, the project, we have to find who's the anchor tenant. Then we build our apartment. We build a hotel on the site. And this one is 150 acres. And they have the Costco and the Walmart on the site and the Food for Less. And we have a Target, we have a 99 cents, we have a Lowe's. Then we build a town village. That's what apartment. So when you're doing this kind of business, why just emphasize apartment business always will be stay there. Always will be the good business to invest. Instead, you're buying the 5 or 10 single family house, then you should switch your direction to apartments. But new apartments, they got an advantage because they actually will be under the curfew of the 5% increase. And then mostly the over 15 years apartment, old apartment, they restrict your lease rate, rental rate for 5% plus the CPI, cost of living index, let's say 2.7, 2.9%. So that's mean you only can increase less than 8% per year. So some agent purchase for the clients to purchase the apartment, and they are 30% lower than the market price. So that's mean after change hand, close escrow, you cannot increase your lease rate, say over 8%. Even they are lower than the market, 30, 40%. You cannot do that overnight. You got to do that yearly. But when we do the new apartment, there's no restriction on that one. So remember, the new built apartment is better, but it's very hard to find this kind of products. Very, very difficult to find this. And that's the largest one we developed for 200 acres. And we have the Walmart. I just say the Walmart is a super center. Super center is open 24 hours, and they own the land too. It's no big deal. They own the land, and compared to our rest of the land, so we let them own the land. But the small tenant like a Ross, Diddy's, like a Panda, McDonald, and they lease from us and Aldi markets, and even we build the theaters. When you do the mixed use, the function-wise, you have to very good place to let the people to spend the time and spend the money, not only living there, not only single-family house. We don't do too many single-family house, and we do mostly it's an apartment for rent. So that's what we do. Because in the future, I just say, commercial plaza for the future, you are upside, but it will depend on the city. How do you can mix use that? You can build residential on the top, and the down below will be your commercial. It happened all over in Asia. If you go to the major city, everything is work, play, eat within the one community. That's the easy way. All right. So we try to do this, duplicate this kind of the shopping center or the plaza in the U.S. within the Southern California. That's our territory. We don't go over that. That's too far. People say, why don't you go to Northern California? You go to Arizona or Phoenix. I say they are all good, the Vegas, but we only know this area. We know the government. We know the local policy. So when you do, what do you know? Okay, because so when we're dealing with the city, with the government, we always under promise, over delivery. Why under promise? We will tell them how many jobs, how many retail tax they can create. But after you over promise, under delivery, they're not going to work with you. Maybe just one-time deal. Remember, agent, broker, when you talk to your investor, you got to do the same thing, same way, more conservatively, and to play safe. Always do that, all right? And we built like a Hyatt, I just saying, hotel right over there. Now it's a 70% occupancy rate back. On average, the hotel on the March, April, May, probably 30%. We can do 50. And now we are 70, almost back to the normal. Normal is 80%. It's higher than average. Why? Because they don't have many products. So competitor, you always got to watch who's the competition competitor in the market. You got to understand. So you build that kind of name brand, build that kind of, you can lead the market. Okay, so the direction you have to find your own. Carefully study. You got to pay the money. The hotel, you got to easy to pay $15,000 to $20,000 to the PKF. I believe it's under CPRE. Then they give you the report. Then you can take this report and even talk to the bank to get a finance. Okay, so I'm talking about a little bit about the project we've been done, so I can sharing our experience. So shopping center, yes, good and the bad. Bad is right now. Good is for the future, the upside, I'm saying. Do for the mixed use, okay? But before you go to the commercial real estate, you have to understand, not like a house. And a house you run for rent, same thing. You got a GLA, you got to understand what's a gross leasable area. Some legal terminology, especially agents, you have to learn that when you're talking to the seller or talking to the buyer or you are represent your clients. You got to do understand. Okay, when they have kind of the numbers or the name or whatever the meaning, you have to understand what's that showing on that. Okay, rentable square footage. especially in the commercial, we own the shopping center. Kind of easy because what is a triple net? Triple net is the property tax, your maintenance, and your insurance will be paid by your tenant, but not every single one, because you have to understand, commercial real estate leasing contract is negotiable. If you are willing to do that, tenant accept, and the landlord will do that, they will be fine. That's also negotiable. But mostly, the standard will be triple net. The clients, the tenant, they pay for the money, so they call it triple net. The CAN charge, they call it common area maintenance charge. So we only can focus, we collect the rent. So when you're agent telling the people, say, the lease rate is $2 per square foot, it's not really correct because it's a triple net. You might plus another 40, 50, even 67 cents. So there will be up to $2.50 or to 70, even $3, depending on the area. So the net will be $2.50, but no, it's a triple net. That means you have to pay the rest of that. So cannot telling the people, say, that's a $2.50. No, it's almost $3. You have to watch out of this. Okay, so that's commercial real estate. And most of the people telling, say, commercial, how do you compare the commercial? I say it's totally different than the residential. It's a little bit difficult to compare that because without your NOI, without your numbers, without your selling price or your numbers, what do you expect to pay to buy or are you willing to sell? That's all depend, I'm just saying, the leasing, the rent you collect called the rental sheets. That's called NOI, net operating income. You take the net operating income to talk about what kind of value you want to sell that. So that cap rates will be shown. Lower cap rates, 3, 4, 5% is good for seller, bad for buyer. If a higher 7, 8, 10%, bad for what? Seller, good for buyer. So it's opposite way. So people you telling say, I'm going to sell cap rate for 5. The price is not going to be cheap, not going to be inexpensive. But people saying that 10 cap rate, take it. It's very good. So that's mean your investment return on your cash value is almost like 10% better than a bank. So for example, my company have the property for $3 million. Okay, your NOI is 1.3. Somebody got a typo. It's a 30 million, it's not 3 million. Okay, sorry about that. It's too quick. It just happened. Okay, so if you take the $30 million on the property and you sold for $30 million, but your NOI is 1.8. So that means the property is worth 6% of the cap rate. So in today's market, it's very good. Commercially, we can take 6%. That's fine. So always remember, you are the agent. You talk to the seller, represent your buyer. First, just to check what's your NOI. Can you show me the paper? Sure, before that, you guys sign a non-disclosure agreement or you write an OI letter of interest step by step. But you always ask, what's your cap rate? What's your NOI? Then you have the basically idea, should I go for this project or different project? Then you go into the detail because due diligence always happen. You might take a couple months is within the contract. So even you can regress, you can back out on the last minute. Okay, if you don't like it, you can cancel that. So that's good about the commercial. Always give you a longer time to do the due diligence time, okay, to do the DD. So don't be afraid. Asking a little bit longer due diligence time to do that, okay? But they will be dependent on the project. Some projects are very hot. They only give you 30 days due diligence, 15 days close, just like a house, okay? It's very hot place, okay? The retail has been hurt. Office too. Why? Because office people work at home, from home, whatever. They don't need office space, but they still need a place to work. Some business, they need to open to the public. So the office for our company, I say half and half. I don't really say office, you cannot build more. You have to know who's your tenant. Before that, you sign the contract. Like we signed the contract, we know the KB Home, KW, California government. We even lease to the Social Security. We lease to the immigration services. We lease to the Army, Marine, Air Force recruit center. So they sign the contract, then you start to build. So that's what I'm telling the people. Do reverse way, again, reverse way. Okay. So this one is our company to build office, try to lease that. And we talk a little bit about the hotel because of people getting worried about hotel business. Although we have the one hotel has been built 2 years and it looks very good right now, the Hyatt Place, and we have another 2 Hyatt hotel going to build in the Pomona, the Philip Ranch. And we do have the joint venture project in Arcadia, and close to the racetrack in Arcadia will be the 5-star, the hotel called the La Meridian, the Marriott. We work with another lead developer, Chateau. We work with them to do that project, okay? But mostly our own project, we do the limited service. And what's the limited service? Let's talk about a little bit this. If you want to get involved, this difficult hospitality the time right now, at least you know what are you dealing with. Because in the US, we don't call 5-star, 4-star, and the AAA, they got 4 diamonds. But in Asia, if you say 5-star, 4-star, people knows that. But right now, we only can talk about full service or limited service. So mostly the inn, not the hotel, they all limited service. Now, even not in the regular hotel entry level, they are limited service. How do you can tell that? If they have the lunch and the dinner served, that's a full service. If they have the convention conference room, they can do the banquet, and they can do like a huge big seminar, they can do the exhibition. They all call it full service hotel. It's a big one. We're talking about a larger scale and the big land and the mid-rise, even go to high-rise. But the limited service, what do we call for the business traveler or for the a very budget, the people. So limited service, you can stay safe because you are not charging that very high. But for the pandemic, COVID-19, everybody being hurt. So in order to get into this kind of business, you got to understand your agent, how do you ask the seller? But unfortunately, the hotel business is not like a regular business. They don't put a sign in front of the hotel saying, we're going to sell this. It might affect the people live or for those employees. So that was happening in the capital market, or is a pocket deal, non-disclosed, and the people, the agent talk to the agent or agent brokers. But you need to know basically occupancy rates. You need to know the average daily rates. You need to know the RevPAR, revenue per available room. So those numbers, when you gather those, then you can figure out how much this hotel really worth. Okay, but hotel is a management. It's kind of the how to manage this deal. It's not really real estate. It's depend on the what do we call management team, like our Hyatt Hotel or Marriott Hotel. It have to leave those management company by their number, by those flag. Okay, so Hyatt Hotel will send their people to manage your hotel. Otherwise, you won't get their flag. You cannot register under theirs. So you're actually paying their loyalty management fee, or they can give you few other management team. You can interview, you can compare, but it has to be there allowed, okay, within their sheet. You can't do yourself, say, hey, I want to do that by myself. You cannot do that. So the hotel is difficult right this moment. But in the future, let's say a year, 2 years pass. I mean, the tourists, the clients, and travelers coming back, always need, because you cannot sleep, you cannot traveling online. You need to find a place. So hospitality business, we are looking for 2 years from now, we'll be back. Will be great, okay? And like our Pomona Hyatt, why we want to do the Hyatt Hotel? We want to do the house. Why I say the house? Because they are extended stay. They got a kitchen. People can stay there for a month. They can stay there for a week. Yeah, the business traveler, they might like training people. They might stay there, might dealing with a big corporation people. So we have the different variety of the name brand, like place and house. That's what we do in the Pomona. Industrial. That's right now it's very popular, especially we call the manufacturing, assembling plant and logistic. I believe the President Trump, they want to make America great again. So they want everything assembling or made in the USA. So they might boost people, they coming back to the US to set up the factories. And since online business is very good, and Amazon and Alibaba stuff, they need to find a logistic warehouse. I've been told the Amazon just found the 600,000 square feet warehouse in the city of industry, okay? And they're going to lease that, they're going to create the jobs. So always good in the industrial project. But industrial project, you should concern with the sustainable green power. If anything with the solar, or like a bioenergy, biochemical, biotechnology, wind energy, hydropower, no pollution, or geothermal. It's underground called geothermal. So those can combine with the industrial. They can have the more government support. They can give you a little bit more room. And then you can, what do we call, making the earth better, okay, our Mother Earth. So if you want to do industrial, it's a good timing to do that. But if you buy the land, it's not easy. Okay, I'm just saying the cost for us, developer, is close to the residential price per square foot, $120, $130, even to $150, not including the land, not including the land price. So you're buying a warehouse for $200, hey, that's market price, even higher than that. But if you go bigger, 100,000 square feet, 200,000, that's a different story. Okay, so that's industrial. Let's go to the apartment. Apartment for rent, you can see the sign. But apartment, if you are the agent, if you are the broker, it's about the time to let people know, can diversify their investment to do the apartment. For the future, apartment still will be stay there. Okay, still will be very good. And apartment right now, I can share our company experience. When we do the apartment, we are changing the apartment. People's mentality say apartment is low end, and for those the people, they really cannot afford a house, not even the low end house, they have to pay the rent. They're not really correct. So we change the people's mind. When we say the villa, when we say the luxury apartment, our apartment, we have to do the gated with a clubhouse, swimming pool, dryer, washer, all included. Even we have the fitness, the gym, clubhouse in apartment with a gated community. That's a create environment that the people comfortable to live in, because the rent price, you can tell from 2007 to 18, I don't even say right now, it's go up. LA, Inland, Orange County, everywhere, the price is up. Gradually, literally, because of the cost, because of maybe the inflation. So you can pay easily to pay $2 up to $5 per square foot for the apartments. So the SoCal rent won't be cool off any year soon, even to the 2020, 21. So that's mean the price for the apartment always be increase, not going to be the decrease. Okay. So that's about the trend for the 10 years. And our apartment, that's a live picture we took. I just saying, when you go to apartment, you want to be kind of like a resort type. They are willing to pay like 10 cents more per square foot or $100 a month, no big deal. But you let them have a very great the atmosphere they can live in. Okay, those see what we call the model house, model apartment, and we got the gym and the spa, or what do we call the fitness. Yeah, let the people to relax that. Okay, we have that for the pet. okay, for the children to playground on that. So that's what we built, okay? But that one is not for the 20, 30 units. Like Riverside City, 98 units, Pomona, 105, and Delano is a 432 plus 500, El Centro, 240 plus 180. So you have to know the market. If you want to develop, you want to be number one. You will lead this market to create a very good, what do we call, the interior, the design for that. Let your clients who paying the apartment, they are thinking they are living in a very good townhouse or condo. Okay, so that's what we do. Tell you about the price. Can you imagine, back to Maine, they closed the deal in our familiar with St. Gabriel. How much did they pay? They closed the deal. 3.45% cap rate, people grab it. Why? Because they are safe. 13 units, $5 million, 3.45. All right, you got face reality, that's it. If you go a little bit suburb, if you go to the inland, if you got 5%, even 6%, that's still very good. But unfortunately, it's not. I've been told in Ontario, apartment, 10, 20 units, you can get it like a 4%, 5%. You'll be happy. So that's why the demand for the apartment is very high. But you got to remember, you better buy the new apartment because they have no rental control on that. A little bit better. But if you do the old one, that's fine. But you got to be careful how to do the maintenance and how to deal with the tenant. Okay, but it's still very safe. All right. So people ask me, Howard, how do we can do the commercial, the land development? I say, don't touch it. It's not easy to do that. It's very difficult. The reason why, because every raw land, vacant land, you involve with entitlement. It's a land without entitlement, agent or brokers. I don't encourage you to deal with that because they will take a longer time. Maybe 3, maybe 5, maybe 10 years, you can start to build. So that's a different ballgame you to play. You gotta know what's the general plan, zoning, subdivision, site specific plan. Lots of that you have to understand because California, they call the CEQA, is very strict. It's very strict. So you need to know what's the EIR. So if you are the agent or brokers, people from the Asia, they wanted to buy the huge land, the big land. You got to be careful. Are they entitled? Do they have the utility? Because utility is cost more than the land price. Where's the sewer? Where's the power? Okay, where's the water from? You all have to know where's that. So talk to your local, the planning department, to talk to those city people to let them understand. They are happy to tell you, okay? Unless you do everything ready, then you go to them. So that's what you call the ready, willing, able. If you do not do that, don't deal with the vacant land. It's not easy at all. Maybe you can have the children, your grandson, that's fine. But for yourself, you got to understand why is it difficult? Because so many subdivision map, you got condo conversion, you got zoning, you got agreements, and you got historical cultural landmark, you got utility landscaping approval. That's all involved. But don't worry, there's still some professional can do that. Not even us. We hired a civil engineering company, consultant company for us. All you need to do is pay the money because that's supposed to be including in the project. So you cannot look into the land just for the price itself. You got looking for development costs, pre-development, entitlement costs, because there's lots of involved with that. And you got to deal with the endangered species. That's a U.S. Fish and Wildlife. You deal with the EPA. You deal with the state. You deal with the county. You deal with the special services. You deal with HOA. And those you have to learn, you have to understand. Say again, talk to the city people, talk to the plan department, hire a consulting company, do the research, is help you help your clients. Okay, maybe someday they will be blamed to you. You kill your deal. So that one, so the land develop is not easy at all. I have to say that because you have a lot of permit you have to apply building, grading, plumbing, sewer, mechanical, yeah, electrical. Then you have occupancy rate. Without that permit, you cannot do that. You cannot even break the ground. You cannot do nothing. You just wait. All you can do, be patient to do that. So we always telling the people, pay a little bit more money to buy the entitled land, unless you can wait for 20, 30 years. That will be fine. Okay, if not, you got to do that. You got to have those the policy and the regulation understand. Okay, I just say, how do we can do the government relationship help the agent or broker dealing with the seller or the buyer, mostly for the buyer? You say maybe we can get some funding for this project if you want to develop. From the federal, the stage, you can have the EDA, Economic Development Agency. That one is very important. You talk to them, they might can get you some grant. They get you some money to support you. Or Community Development Financial Institution Fund called the CDFI Fund, or SBA. It's a small business loan, or Department of Housing Urban Development. Or you can get an EB-5 immigration program to help your project. But you got to be careful, select the EB-5 project because there's no guarantee, non-guarantee project. So those, what I'm telling you, you can get those the fund from the federal level to help your project. Or the buyer wants to buy this piece of land or this project, you can create another job opportunity, can have the more retail tax. You might can qualify for those kind of federal level grant. The money can use, but not into your pockets, but it will be go to the infrastructure, will be go to the project. Or you can go to the California state level or local level. Okay, then you got the development block grants. You got a multifamily housing program. Local, we got a tax reserve fund and the tax credit. They will be calculate how much tax retail you can create. They can issue the community bond. They can back to us, like we got $30 million bond back to our company to do the infrastructure. So that one, yeah, you can learn more from maybe you can Google search that or hire the research company, consulting company, pay a little bit of money, then you can save a lot for the future. And industrial, they got a very special zoning you have to understand, especially for the agent wanted to have the buyer to buy this one. If they are perfectly in the foreign trade zone, FTZ used to be an enterprise zone, is no more. Or they have a California competes tax credit called CalCompetes. You always can get a funding, support, okay, from the city or opportunity zone. So that's mean help you easy to sell this property or have the buyer decide to buy this property if they are in the industrial warehouse logistic area. Can they have this kind of zoning? Okay. So I think basically, yeah, the Pauline, I think a little bit over some time on that. They got lots of to share. I'll let you know. So the Pauline and the the people they have the questions, they can ask me right now, so I can answer that and let the people know for our company the past experience, how to deal with this pandemic COVID-19 difficult moment. All I'm saying, you have to be patient, and before you do the business, you have to understand what's your market and what's your tenant, especially in the commercial. When you wanted to buy, you're looking for not only now, you're looking for the year, 2 years later. All right, Pauline, thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Howard. Thank you for so detailed and wonderful presentation regarding the commercial real estate market updates. We benefit. We really have a wonderful 1 hour. And here we have a simple question. Maybe you already including in your speech, but I still want to mention again, some people, they check in late. So we want to share again. Johnson Lin asking, what is the outlook for commercial real estate in the next 2 years? Means like 2021, 22. What do you think about in general?
In general, I'm saying is the business getting better. Okay, I'm gonna say better is it depend what kind of trade you are in. Are you in the office, multifamily, industrial, retail, hotel, or land? The most patient one will be hotel, retail, part of the office. So this retail, hotel, office, I'm looking to another 2 years fully recover. I don't say even fully, because some is unpredictable, depend on the area, depend on the government policy, depend on the tenant, how do they can survive. So if they say in general, I'm saying the retail being hurt a lot, and even for the future. But if you want to change that, you can switch your mind into the mixed use, okay, to residential mixed use, apartment condo part. Hotel, we have to back until the tourist, the business, conference, they back. So maybe take a year or 2 years. And office is it depends. But for the multifamily, industrial, they're doing very well right now. So for sure, they were doing very good for the future too. But the land, I'm just saying, if you are not confident or you don't have very good, what do we call consultant team, not really to buy the unentitled land. If you know entitled, I better don't touch that because you don't know what's happening in the 4 or 5 years later. Maybe you do the multifamily to build a warehouse will be fine. If you do the like retail or office, I don't know. Do you have the tenant? Hotel may be okay because hotel business will be for sure will be back. Okay, that's all I can answer. Okay, very brief.
Great,
Thank you.
wonderful, wonderful. The next question from Linda Liu. Linda is asking, how do you think the outlook of 5-star senior facility development in California? The 5-star means like they give the full support to the seniors of facilities. How do you think the outlook?
Before the pandemic, I think the business for the healthcare is dependent. We call it some senior assistant living, mental care. Okay, they got a little bit different. Three kinds. Or the senior house, the housing. The health care is the people getting together, so they're being effect. So the horrible time for the health care, but in the long run, the people aging, so they need to find a place to take care. So when you're talking about 5-star, then we're talking about like a month you have to afford $6,000, $8,000, even $10,000. Sure, because you are different clientele. Like you have the $10 million house in Beverly Hills in San Marino, then you have a certain degree, the people, they want to buy that, sure. So they call the blue sea, the strategy. If you want to find a good location, good place, and to spend more money to have the 5-star, like the image, and the people willing to pay, I think that's good. That's not bad. So if you want to do the regular one to compete with other business, it's not easy at all. Okay, that's what I can say. Yes.
Great, thank you. And the next question is from Deborah. Deborah is asking, when we talk about the commercial expenses, why they add the expenses reimbursed to SGI? Why they add expenses part reimbursement to SGI?
Okay, I have to see what kind of expenses. Okay, and so expenses for the commercial, and we have one we call the reserve. Reserve is a happen to the HOA. The reserve is happen to the hotel because you need a renovation, you need a facelift for the HOA or all kind of commercial. We have reserve money, and some called expenses, some called non-expenses. But I have to more specific to understand what kind of expenses they create. Then I can put in the category and talk to the accountant or attorney to see what kind of expenses. That one I'm not quite clearly about what's exactly expenses. Okay.
Thank you. And next question is from Ellen Law. Ellen is asking, Mr. Ting, you mentioned it is likely that retails or hotels, motels can be converted into multi-units. What do you think about the senior center conversion instead? Do you know if there's a shortage of senior housing in California? What is your thought?
Yes, basically they're always short. I'm just saying the people is aging, is getting old. And the commercial real estate is all depend on the needs, what we call the demands, and who controls that. Actually, I can say everything is possible when you're dealing with a city or a county, talking to the planning departments. But you have to know what's their general plan and your specific plan. Then you always get nothing to lose. You present that. So I should say demands right there. It's always be good for the senior housing. You can convert, you can do whatever. But even I say, okay, who's going to decide? First will be the city. Council member vote. Then hearing. If the local people, they don't like it, then you got a problem. But fortunately, if you're doing the residential, what we call the units in the existing commercial area, like a shopping center or plaza, they'll be fine. They'll be a little bit better you're doing in the like a residential neighborhood. Then your hearing is very hard to get a pass. Okay, so I answered that question will be yes, the demand's there. It's good business to do, but it really depends the city. Where is it? Where's the location? How do you can apply for the license? That will be not easy, okay?
Wonderful.
Thank
And
you.
the next question is from Han Zhang. Han asking if Han have to buy a commercial property
Yes.
to defer some capital gain within the next 3 months. Which type of commercial property do you suggest to buy if Han wants good cash flow at this moment?
Good question. I'm looking for that too, okay?
Yeah. We're learning from your skill.
Yeah, because we are developer, we don't really buy the stuff on the markets, okay? Because we're dealing with the scratch and dealing with the city, counties. We buy the land and we start to build to find a tenant. But you are agent broker, I don't say you want to make a quick commission or stuff like that. It's not. But you're buying the stuff you can see to believe. That's an easy way. Okay, don't be like a developer. It took too long. Okay, if first you have to survive, then you're making the money. But right now, what do we call the defer? Because of they got to, let's say involved with like 1031, 1032. Okay, then you can do that. Or basically you want to buy something on the market. I'm saying if you're looking for like a 4% in Southern California, the cap rate is very good already, even if they can go to 6%. So what's on the market? Because that's not the worst, they're not the worst time yet. They still have lots of the foreclosure stuff will come up. So sometimes you better keep your cash to look around. And right now, the first step into the market will be like a big fund company, the funding company, retirement fund. They buy the notes, they buy the the notice of default project, they buy the short sale, and they leave to the private sectors. Okay, so now the major player, they do have money. They are looking for the project. For the private investors, I don't know, not too many good stuff on the market yet. So they will be depend on the September 2nd after elections, people are going to lose a job, and the landlord cannot afford, they cannot keep it. They might have some products available in the market, but I don't think probably end of this year. If they are looking for, I think it's so good. Even if you want to buy the retail office, multifamily, even the hotel. But if you want the short term, the quick profit in the short term, I don't have anything yet. Sorry.
Got it.
Yes.
Great. We have one last question. Chinese say the best one will be on the bottom. Okay. So the best question right now is submitted by Mr. Wei-Ming Lee, our ADU expert. He just gave a speech yesterday. Okay. And Mr. Wei-Ming Lee want to ask him, Mr. Ting, how did you go out and find multiple tenants to aggregate on a lot that you intend to develop. What do you do to attract their commitment for long-term investment? In the process of construction, economy change, for example, COVID-19, COVID-21, something change, financial fluctuate, anchor tenant may negate on their potential lease. While you experience a loss, how do you mitigate that potential risk? I think this is a wonderful, nice question. Everybody want to get your idea. How do you do?
Yes, yeah, understood. I gotta be careful, answer the question for they are experts, probably expert than I am, okay? Yeah, because we got a limit, I don't say vision, but we do have the vision, but only in our past 25 years career and to do some local the development. And how to avoid that, I think we did that already. I'm saying reverse engineer. You really locate the good location because demographic. You have to know. And you got to know who's your tenant and why we pick up the Walmart be our anchor. And how to avoid that, you need those anchor or non-anchors, but they are they can like a good franchise and they lease your space and you check their credit. And even some mom and pop store, we need to sign the personal guarantee on that. And the big corporation, I know when they're out of business, Chapter 11, nothing you can do. Unfortunately, yes. But for us, we want to pick up the good one instead. Even they pay you higher price. You don't do that. Like people buying the warehouse say, hey, I pay you the great price. They don't believe it. Why? Because they're going to grow the cannabis. They're going to marijuana. Okay, so it's a no free lunch. And so you want to ask me how to avoid that, how to select your tenant, select who lease or to rent. For example, apartment. Most being hurt is entry-level laborers. They only receive like $20,000 a year, something like that. So they cannot afford, not even apartment. So they're gone, they no more. So when we do the little bit luxury apartment and their average income, family income over 50, 60,000, they can afford, they can stay for the longer. So yeah, the Mr. Lee saying anything happen, but for the longer time in the future, you have to watch out right now. So what you do right now is to select, or you buy the property. You buy. I'm saying buy the property first. You have to know what's the upside. They can build more. They can convert to the residential, but it's all depend on the city. That's difficult. Although the upside's right there. Yeah, but the buying right now, the cap rates, you got to figure out 3, 5, 4%. They will be fine. Okay. If you can survive with that, even next cycle, then we still can survive. If not right now, then you're out of business. Then you have to walk away. So carefully select your project and find your tenant first. If you are a developer, then you have to do that, to carefully study, sign the contract, then you build. Okay, so sign the long term, not short term. Our contract, we don't do anything 5 years. And with another 5 or 10, 20 years at least. You know, the Asian business, Chinese, the Panda Express, they lease our space 45 years. 45 years. Why? We wanted their tenant. They wanted that spot. They want to do their business. They don't want a competitor to come in. So you can let them stay there longer. Okay, they do a business. They're making money. They pay you the rent. You happy? They happy. All right? So I don't know exactly. I answer Mr. Lee's question. Yeah, he's the expert. Maybe we can talk some more in the future. Okay, I only can speak for myself, my company, our own experience. All right,
That's wonderful. Mr.
You.
Lee say perfect. You really share with a great idea and your thought to us. Okay, we thank you so much, Howard. You spent your treasure time with us,
Thank
and
you.
your so wonderful experiences. We want to thank you again. This is, I think everyone will agree with me. What a wonderful and fabulous seminar today. And thank you again. We really appreciate. We did learn a lot from you, and we wish we can have you come back, talk about more detail. Okay.
Sure, I will. If you need it, I will do. So I'm telling everybody.
We want
Yes.
to. We want to, and then
Thank you.
we might want to get into some category can be a better development future. Like if some land is too complicated, right?
Yes.
Maybe we want to go for multifamily
Okay, fine.
for getting your more detail. We have a commercial seminar every month, second Tuesday, 12 noon. So we're setting that time. Okay. I think before we closing, I want to repeat again today what we learned. Do reversely, right? Thinking, jump off the box. Think about carefully and find your anchor tenant to do your future plan. And we just say we like you. Thank you so much again. And knowledge of power, apply the knowledge is more powerful. We don't want you to miss any commercial or residential classes support you, present you by Western Gateway Board Education Committee. Will bring you next Tuesday, September 1st, 11, Isaac Kim will bring you capital gains tax reduction strategy when you do the IRS tax, okay? And the next Friday, don't forget GBC, Global Business Council, so energetic team will bring you number 9 country, Canada, our neighbor country. How do you think about cross border to do the business with them, buying, selling, just in our neighbor, right? Come 11, next Friday, 11, check in for this wonderful section. And then the September 8th, we have a commercial seminar. East West Bank specialists will come to talk about commercial loan. So we just have a attendee is asking the commercial rate. We want to give you a most update for September's rate. And don't forget tomorrow, every Thursday, 9 o'clock, Emma's breakfast meeting presents you our affiliates panel, talk about NHD disclosure, the importance, especially in this unprecedented time. We thank you so much. I want to thank everyone to join today's class. And thank you, Howard. Thank you, Fang, everyone. We share together, we learn together for this wonderful hour. Howard, thank you.
Thank you. Play safe, stay safe. And remember, agents, don't over-promise under-delivery, okay?
Great.
Okay, so have to be under-promise, over-delivery, okay?
Wonderful. Right now, let's go lunch, okay?
Sure.
Let's go to lunch.
So thank you.
And we see you tomorrow, 9 o'clock, Emma's breakfast meeting. And for those, reminder, for those you are not St. Gabriel Board's members, we still offer the free classes to you, and you are encouraged to join us a secondary association if you like. Then you will automatically receive this upcoming very good classes present to you. Thank you so much again. On behalf of St. Gabriel Board and Education Committee, we wish you the best. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Okay.